When Street Hope began, it really started at the invitation of one godly man in Knoxville, Tennessee, who had learned about the issue of minor sex trafficking. He invited community leaders and church leaders from all around the Knoxville area just to be willing to come together to listen and then to just really lean in and pray and find out what does God want to do.
We saw the need for it. I had already seen the need in my job. I already was aware that there were trafficking cases in the Knoxville area. So seeing the potential of what Street Hope could be was just huge.
In Luke chapter 4, Jesus quotes Isaiah and said that I've come to preach the good news to the poor and liberty to the captives. And so I'm starting to think, who are the captives today? You know, who's in slavery today? And if the captives today are kids who are being sold into slavery, sex slavery, then who are we as Christians if we don't do something about that?
It didn't take long for our core group of leaders to dream big about what God would do.
We were convinced that God had something big planned for the ministry. At the beginning, we had a lot of different challenges. Multiple things happened over a period of about 3 months.
It looked like Street Hope was going to be ending. I'll never forget that moment where this thing could end right now, and we haven't even gotten started. We haven't made a dent. And God said, no, our time is not over. In fact, we have only just begun. And so something new happened at that point, which resulted in a search for the next executive director, who happened to be Devin Payne.
I came to Street Hope in February of 2017. The whole story of Street Hope is God in His sovereignty bringing about the most random and most unqualified people for His good pleasure to do what only He can do. We started working with Knox County schools, and with the education that we had learned and the trainings we had learned, and came up with this idea, instead of having one person going to all these classes doing this education, what if we created something that everybody could use? And that's how Project Post was born.
When the opportunity came up to develop a prevention program that could be seen in the schools, I jumped on it. If we can address the prevention side of it more, then we reduce the victim side.
It doesn't matter if you love the Lord, if you don't know the Lord. Nobody wants kids to be trafficked and sexually exploited, okay? Like, that's given. But the solution is Jesus.
The one thing that we really had was prayer.
God doesn't put Band-Aids on brokenness. He makes beauty from ashes.
We were always dreaming about the day whenever God might even provide for a place that would be a place of rescue and restoration for those who were brought out of trafficking.
If it were going to happen, it was not by might or by power, but by the Spirit and by the Lord God Himself. And that when He did, that we were going to do it God's way, or we would not do it at all. And then what proceeded to happen over the following year and a half and 2 years is God built the house, God brought in the funding, and God brought the people. We believed that if God was going to build the house, that He was the one that was going to sustain it.
When I think about the growth of Street Hope, I'm absolutely certain that it's due to the power of prayer. Prayer has been really a powerful component that has been woven throughout the entire story of Street Hope.
When I first started at Street Hope, there was a new resident that had just come into the home. I could tell who the new girl was. She was the one in the room that was the most hurting, the one who had just come from being away from everything she's ever known. To see her go from just walking through the door to someone who now knows the love of Christ and knows that she is loved and she is here for a purpose and she's talented and she's smart and she's beautiful.
Ultimately, Prayer is what God used to provide for the beautiful facility of Garland Oaks that became a place of refuge, a place of restoration, and a beautiful picture of the ministry of Street Hope.
From the moment that I came here, I have seen it time and again. It truly is incredible what God does in this ministry.
A lot of times we don't see the result. With Street Hope, you can see the result.
I mean, we've got Garland Oaks, we have thousands of students in schools all over East Tennessee that are being made aware.
God is doing amazing things. There's such growth. There's such opportunity in this ministry. We went from a small team to such a large one that is being able to provide for these girls at Garland Oaks, being able to go out into the schools and reach over 13,000 kids each school year. That is something that the dreamers back in 2015 never imagined, but they knew that God could do it, and He has done it. So we are so thankful to be able to celebrate that this year and to be able to carry His faithfulness into the future of Street Hope, Tennessee.